All right, so here is the less obvious. When you think about professional dress, we've talked about clothes. You talk about what you look like, and that's the obvious. The less obvious is the communication piece of it. How we communicate. Okay, what do you notice about the picture on the right? What is this person in their nonverbal communication? What are they saying? Irritated, not interested, closed off. That's exactly right. It's interesting how folded arms. There are people who analyze this. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I was watching Good Morning America one day a few years ago, and they were actually analyzing these heads of state from different countries that were getting together for a summit, and they were talking about how they shake hands, whether or not they hug each other, the space between them. I mean, minor details that a lot of us don't pick up that show a dominance. Whose hand is on top? You know, do they do the pat? These are all little things. Folded arms typically say, I'm not listening to you. I'm not interested in what you're saying. I'm not interested in you. I just want to get the heck out of Dodge. Okay? Simple stuff, right? Smile. Janet Lane says, of all the things you wear, your expression is the most important. You can get everything right. The tie, the shirt, the shoes, the belt, everything. You can get it all right. But if your attitude and your nonverbal communication doesn't speak the same, then you're not going to get the impact that you want. So smile, eye contact. I tell my kids as they've been growing up, and we are in certain social settings, and they have to say hello to an adult, I make sure I say, look them in the eye, shake their hand, look them in the eye. It's little details like that. And smile. It changes the dynamic and the mood dramatically when you have a lighter feel. It just opens communication. People are more honest. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. All right, so anybody know what mirroring is? Yes? Okay. Anybody else ever heard of the term mirroring? Yeah? Okay. Mirroring, we interview a lot of people for ourselves and for our clients. And it's interesting to me when I get folks come in and interview, and I'm sitting in my chair, we're at a conference table, I'm sitting upright, and they come in, they've got everything right, and they lounge back in their chair like this. Go to this. What is this guy telling you? I mean, you think about this. He's got the suit right. He's got the shirt, the tie. Everything is right. The hair is short, probably too short. But look at his facial expressions. Look at how he's sitting. Notice those little details. So if I'm interviewing with you, and I'm on the edge of my seat and I've got my arms on the table, what does that say? I'm interested, I'm engaged. This is good, right? If I'm in my chair and I'm just sitting back and I'm relaxed, got my legs crossed, what does that say? I'm relaxed. Maybe too confident. Yes. Think about this. As an employer, if somebody comes in, this is their first time to meet with me, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm tilted back, and I'm totally chill, I'm thinking to myself, if this person is this comfortable on our first meeting, what are they going to be like a month from now? Am I going to have to constantly rein this person in because they're just pushing the envelope of comfort? As an employer, I don't want employees that I have to manage. Successful employers and successful managers find people they don't have to manage. They find people that can manage themselves, that just need a little governance and a little guidance. So if my first interaction with you in an interview, in the time when you're supposed to be the most formal, you're not, I'm probably going to pass. You might have a great suit on too, but this guy, the cartoon character, again, it's the crossed arms. sort of, you know, it's not really a smirk, but you know, kind of a just grimace. These are all, think about nodding, think about your posture. Am I sitting upright? Am I slouched over? Am I leaned back? Hand gestures, excessive hand gestures, probably distracting. But all of these things, nodding is one that's saying, I'm understanding what you're saying. So when you're interviewing with somebody, mirroring is, if they're on the edge of their seat and engaged, then you want to mirror that. If they're relaxed, then you can relax a little bit. Because if they're relaxed and you're too intense, they're like, this guy's too intense for me. I don't like this guy. You know, because if their whole attitude and their whole style of management is fun and relaxed, well, they don't want somebody who's too stuck. So watch that. Mirror that person. Okay? Next. Use complete sentences and thoughts. I see a number of professional athletes that cannot complete a sentence. They'll get halfway through and say, do you know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, I don't really know what you're saying. Why don't you tell me what you want to say? It's probably a nervous thing more than anything. But what I would tell you is that when you're in an interview, think about what you're going to say. Don't feel rushed. Take the time. You ask the question and you need to respond. Sit. It's okay that there's a 10-second pause while you organize your thoughts, formulate some response, and then spit it out. If you get all in a hurry and you can't complete your thought, and you ask someone before you even finish, do you know what I'm saying? You know, you're going to have less than ideal results. Enunciate. My wife speaks 150 miles an hour. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand what she's telling me. So, especially in the morning, it's like her motor hasn't quite woken up yet. And so, in an interview setting, just speak slowly, with some deliberation, enunciate. Just pronounce it just like you're reading it from the dictionary. It's all broken down into its little pieces. Slow it down. It's okay. Don't get too worked up. Slang terms. My daughter, my 17-year-old in particular, and all of her friends, excessive use of the word like. Like I was at the store and like this guy was coming down the aisle and then like he was all, and then we were all, and then I was like, no way. Not good. Not good. It's a terrible habit and it's hard to break. Avoid those. Typically is more of a speaker thing. You know what I'm saying. Yeah is one that I get on to my kids all the time about. They get comfortable. You ask them, did you put your shoes away? Yeah, I did. No. It's yes, ma'am. It's no, ma'am. It's yes, sir. It's no, sir. Or yes. Yeah is like, it's not professional. What's up? I haven't really had anybody say what's up to me. I have had people cuss in an interview. Not cool. It's not offensive to me because I can cuss with the best of them. But it's what it tells me. It's like the guy that comes in or the girl that comes in and is totally chilled in the chair when the impression they want to make is a professional impression. And what happens is all of a sudden they take the wind out of the sails because they get too comfortable. I'm thinking to myself, if they're this comfortable with me right now, on the day where they're supposed to be the most formal, what am I going to get a month from now, 6 months from now? So it is never cool to cuss in an interview. And it's not like you're going to cuss in an abrasive way. But I did have a client tell me recently that we had somebody interview for a job. I did have somebody interview for a job, and they actually cussed in the interview. The client told me I wasn't offended by it, but it just didn't strike me. Well, there were 4 other people interviewing for that job, and guess who didn't get it? Yeah. Organized responses. So this is important, and I'm going to emphasize the word organized. Your responses. Sometimes people have a hard time answering a question directly. They go all over the place. And so I would say concise. You want to be responsive enough to answer the question, but not so short that they get a different impression of it, right? You want to give enough detail, but you don't want to be so verbose that people are just, you take up an hour on 2 responses. Okay. I liken it to an ad for selling a vehicle. If you're going to take your car and you're going to put it in the paper, you don't want to tell somebody car for sale and that's it. I don't know what kind. I don't know how old. I don't know if it's a truck. I don't know if it's a Chevy. I don't know any details. Too little, not good. But you don't want to say has a cigarette burn on the front seat, smells like wet dog, tires need to be replaced in about 4,000 miles. It's way too many details, right? Interviews are the same way. Conversations, same way. Mirroring is important. You're having to constantly read and scan who your audience is, who you're talking to. Are they engaged or are they disengaged? Because if they're disengaged in their body language, save your breath. If they're engaged, then you know that they want to hear more. So watch for those nonverbal cues from that person. We'll finish with this quote from Anne Holland. Clothes can suggest, persuade, connote, insinuate, or indeed lie. And apply subtle pressure while their wearer is speaking frankly and straightforwardly of other matters. So what she's saying here is that there's 2 conversations that are taking place. There's the one that you and I are having verbally, and there's the one that my presence, my clothes, my posture is having. It's saying things. And the funny thing is, they suggest that I'm confident or not. They suggest that I'm relaxed or I'm not. They suggest or connote that I'm accomplished or I'm not. They essentially can tell a different story. So clothes are important for that matter. They're telling a story at the same time you're having discussions about entirely different matters.